Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nubia series of Crusader King's History here on the Lord Master channel. And as you can see, now there are 3 major kingdoms within the land of Nubia. As in, you know, your empire title of Nubia if it were to be formed. So, now there's Nobadia, Courtiers, and Blemia. So, unless you want to kind of load it in as it's merged with Courtiers, unless something happens to it in regards to succession. See, could potentially split, but not if I, hopefully in a few years' time, for my old friend, Dennis IV, that nothing bad happens to him. And soon I will be doing some traveling just to get more of that lifestyle experience. That, you know, perhaps that maybe we should just become a voyager. And then switch to martial. Because I'm looking to, you know, improve the military. And as well as to prove myself even better as commander. 36, I already have a son. And that reminds me. Search for a wet nurse. And meanwhile, I'm going to go to the coronation ceremonies that I've been invited to. In which I thought, well, seems like a nice idea. Keep Desert Warrior, but also get Silk Road Traveler. Oh look, Travelogue. Since the Nubia culture is chronicle writing, you get to have this, and this will increase monthly prestige even more as you travel. That's nice to know. But we gotta have Silk Road merchants. Because as great as the income is, I just want some fast cash in right now. So we're just gonna go to there, then after we depart, we go visit a couple of points of interests that is relevant to me. Especially with one that does wonders to us. Yeah, I'm willing to spend a year away traveling to parts of Eastern Africa. Travel over divination too large. Okay, never mind. Disregard. Go through thee. Instead. Ding, ding, ding. Hopefully that isn't too large of a divination. Gotta axe some territory. And you'll go up to Swakin. And then be back home. Although I wish I could visit those 2, you know, mining settlements there for more stewardship. Yeah, as if I really need it, since I'm an architect. But I would have loved to travel more. And this is my chance. You know, the travel time is 7 months, but the coronation ceremony will actually make it a lot longer than that. So, let's apply to that. And spend a great deal of money for it. Let's go. The fields of Courtiers are a sight to behold. Every crop in bloom, every leaf green, every stem luscious. I quickly tracked down a source of Venancy, spotting a woman standing in the field, seemingly holding a lecture of some sort to a gathering of listeners. My name is Mistress Nasha. She notices me in the distance and turns in my direction. My knowledge of gardening is vast, yes, incomparably vast, so stay a while and listen. Well, hopefully we don't get too many delays. I got the gardener trait. That's nice to know. Harmless plan. So we'll stay here for a while. With a mind to provide the best care for our child, I've had my functionaries seek out able women for the role of wet nurse. Now they present a few locals for my judgment. Take the cheaper option. Just want to give my child every chance they get. Just wanted to be well educated. Mage, lieges there. Speaking of which. There you go. Too bad I can't take you with me on travels at this time, as you wouldn't be able to. Let's get going. Over here, my lord. My beneficiary Agatha waves me over the wide grin. Untold many days and nights, and finally my work is done. She presents her an object wrapped in cloth. As I lift the fabric, my eyes grow wide. A ceremonial goblet of masterful craftsmanship. It is made of brass with sapphire inserts. A tiny but delicate description, as I said, probably stating, God is my strength. Plus 3 core grandeur and glory hound. Vast attacks contribution plus 3%. Put that over there. You don't want to miss the coronation ceremony now, do we? No more delays. Let's hope for shortcuts. $79% chance. 10% chance of getting that trade after that many successful deals. 62. I finally arrived at Shawk for the coronation. Love or hate the Sultan, none can deny the feeling of importance shared between either who shall stand witness. Time to see what trouble I may get into. Magnificence has been damaged by a faction opposing him. You know, since he's Sultan and he's a Muslim, while some of his vassals and even his heir are still Mandulists. I'll be sure to disrupt loyalists, or seize advantages. Gold, prestige, as if we can't get enough of those. As much as I would like to cause some discontent around here. But steal something from their treasury sounds like a good idea. Perhaps they'll kick me out one day. $48. If you're wondering why the land looks bright compared to others, there's a legend that is formed, which I don't know if it's active or obviously not a member of its dynasty. Battle of Bob. Who's the one guest that's missing? Oh, from Yemen. He has arrived. 1 second. The gathering is as grand as expected, faces familiar and foreign mingle, and I hear greetings just warm enough to be polite. When the host speak, the room quiets out of instinct. My friends, my vassals, my kin, your presence honors me more than any other crown would. Good. Until the ceremony begins, eat, drink, speak freely, and know that I see each of you will not forget who stood here with me today. A kind promise or required warning, depending on how one chooses to hear it. Now then, who else is here? There's these major supporters, the Sultana, the Caravan Master, and the Seneschal. While the major characters include, well, Golga, who is Christian, Sheikh Nazir, Marabot, and then Ashari from Nera. Anyways, all the guests seem distracted by the juggler's performance, the food, the drink, and the presence of other guests. Finally, Sultan Haddad seems to be able to enjoy a moment alone. Ready to talk to him now, Sheikh Nazir. What else behind this cup? We're here for him. It is only fair that we get something out of it. Well, our income is excellent, but this prestige always pays off. Alright, he gave me prestige. Proposed trade from Mercuria. Big money, yes, but I mean, I gain a lot, but again, he gets all the good stuff. But would that mean we'll be having another truce? What if I say no to that? Gain prestige. No, I intend to conquer you one day, so refuse to trade. Our income is excellent. As much as I would like to get fast cash now, but if I was to spend on something, it would be expanding the military, which we still wait for that innovation to come in. As the light of day wanes, I see Hada looking in my direction with a acknowledging nod. He smiles, steps up close. A fine day has been, would you not say, Lazaros? We certainly thank Allah for these blessings. We, Asharis, revere his teachings. You class of pride taking a day prep or continuous theological dissertation. Spy Master does have quite the learning. Whereas my learning skill is 23. Just need every prestige I could get, so I'll say the coordination is no place to discuss these matters. You can have the magnificence, but guess for the coordination of my Queen's done pouring in, giving all minor oaths, thanks to their invitations and pledges of fealty or support. Soon it'll be my time. Must I stand off in the crowd? Must I use my brief audience to convince the Sultan of my worthiness? Oh, I'm not going to give away that thing. Because my love flame, I shall leverage my good name. King Lazaros, Sultan Dab, calls for a big smile. Next to stands another guest. The kingdom of Antiquity. This is Tazdayat. Sultan Dab introduced him. I believe you two would find much common ground. The nature of the charm and charisma, perhaps. Right. I mean, after all, she is a fellow Coptic Christian. And he doesn't have any claims, but is a member of that house. But again, no claims. So also, I'm a friend to all. Just prestige, prestige, prestige. It's all I want. Not interested in money. Proposed trade from Egypt. I mean, I've been thinking about talking to Egypt at some point because of, you know, I mean, since we can't have Bakht negotiations for some reason, but proposing a trade for other things is a little bit redundant, but he's willing to spend it on Nubian goods that we'll be willing to give him. So that's what I want. Truce of 5 years, just to keep Egypt off our backs while my attentions are going to go for those kingdoms. So he's going to get grain and beverages, domestic slaves, paper and candles, commissioned maps, books and relics, luxury manufactures, advanced medicine, hunting derivatives, tools and materials, and other common trade goods. So, so I'm going to get a lot of money up front as a sign of goodwill. I accept this trade agreement with Egypt instead of Mercuria. Let me see. Which I can use that just to throw that money into sponsoring an expedition. Because these last few times did not work. We tried merchants, got nothing. We tried adventurers, we got nothing. Let's see. No, we tried knights. Or adventures. Go ahead, scheme to sponsor knights. Major, please report that the assembled expeditioners prepare to depart and exude confidence success lies ahead. These individuals hired for this undertaking are a skilled and diverse group. Every year will pay a fraction of your income. The larger the amount, the greater chance of success. We shall see about that. And for holding management. See if I could study amongst the nearest monastery. Fortunately, everything went well. The plans drawn up for your holdings development were successful with a few unforeseen events. So council opinions lowered slightly, but more monthly lifestyle experience, especially with the Wanderer part, and more cultural fascination progress, which will be even faster. As I'd like to get this as soon as possible. Let's continue. Sultan now takes a second to observe the crowd, rearranging his shirt. The voices of courtiers become constant as the chirping of birds. I have no doubt that Heda tends to join him. Good king, she says, sliding up to me. May I be so bold as to ask what are your thoughts on the celebration? I know that Sultan Adab's rule will be one of love and justice. Long he may reign. Stumble upon my vassal Dabade, crouching beside me, dog grey, vigorously scratching his stomach. This dog here is quite the charmer, lord. He's a good boy, eh? All preparations complete. The ceremonial assembly now awaits Shovak's High Mosque. To cheers and exaltation, Sultan Adab's procession parts the crowd, and my retinue follows in our honorary place. Tribespeople team forth for a glimpse of the soon-to-be Sultan. Atop their parents' shoulders, amidst the multitude, our major children grin. Now we see the measure of the Sultan. Until the ulama, the blaming nobility, and the common people all acted in their customary part, Adab is no true sultan. His rule cannot be justified without the acceptance of it. First, the priests. Their calls for the sultan to honor their holy rights to defend the faithful, and now, since then the elders of show exterior the sultan and all, as the masters outside exalt his rule and name. Adab's fastest step forward to kiss and swear their fealty. Some give this act high honor, others mutter gloomily and do not raise their eyes from the desk. The ceremony continues on and on. Lamia presents itself to Hadab. A sultan, when he is clothed in ceremony in honor of the ascent of his people, may crown himself. That is our way, though some allow envy this royal right. Yet the imams seem willing to accept this right. Perhaps some ruler in the Quran once did the same. Gripping a bejeweled metal banner in his fingers, Hadab utters an address to all the kingdom. He promises his vigil, his justice, his strength. He crowns himself as master of Lemia. The Sultan proudly approaches the sovereign throne. He placed it, and we shall wear it. It's the Beja crown of theirs from long ago. With the rights of sultans drawing complete, the most senior royal consort is now to be properly instated as sultanate. The Sultan Adab's wife conducts rituals with distinctive intent. The daughter of the Asabi warriors, these bitterly delivered words bear marks of the noble Afa background. Before long, and with great ceremony, the warrior's crown is laid on her head for the first time. The kingdom of Blemia claims there a sultanate. A sultan has a sultanate. Hadab stands by himself in front of the crowd, as all await his oath. I rise today not only to rule, but to build, not just to preserve what it is, but to create what might be. Blemia cannot be confined to memory or a map. It must grow for our future, and the future of our people. Let's see if we can live up to the expectations. One second. Never mind. The formalities have ended, and with them the stillness that held the gathering in place. A field of murmurs arise as the host stands again, this time to mark the end of the ceremony and the start of something more relaxed. They raise their voice just enough to carry. My friends, the rites are complete. Let the tables be filled, let the cups be raised, and let this hall remember joy as well as duty. The words are well received, and for the first time all day, the gathering starts to feel like a celebration. Finally, the ceremony is over with. Your Highness, starts Sultanat Maurice, the wife of Sultan Hadab of Lemia. Distinct odors falling under my table. You must meet this most interesting man. He has brought this wondrously floral cakes of hashish. Enjoy it without me. Don't want to have that in my conscience. Was that the sound of an empty cup you just sat down at the table? To hear anything over the din in the great hall? Sultan Hadab must have enchanted ears. My great soul's voice was servant. More wine here. None will go thirsty. You know we're going to be mortal enemies, right? Although I would hate to pick up that drunkard trait. It's hard to get rid of. I think, as far as my knowledge is concerned. After extensive conversation on the more delectable dishes, Hilda expresses that she finds me most learned and wise. My utterance is always an inestimable worth to those less well read than I. She recognizes true intellect, I see. I didn't know that those of accent was here. The feast dwindling down, and I find myself deep in conversation with my simple acquaintance, Ethnicities. He inquires about my opinion on tax levels, a subject he's deeply interested in himself. It's a subject that fascinates me as well. Hey, we made a friend. Would you like to be ally one day? But hey, you could propose a trade. Whatever I may need off of them. I was not necessary. I mean, I get to have all these cool things. Greed. Rightful liege. Able to speak the Arabic. Sickness his opinion, due thanks to being a friend. It's from over here. Part of the larger Bedouin Confederation. We could all tell Sultan had had too much drink. No, he insisted showing us, and so he was. Simply rising from the siege proved too much for him. Now I'm covered in stick and vomit. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, man. Trouble. No. Made my intentions clear. What started as an ordinary feast became an exceptional one thanks to the presence of Sultan. He spoke all evening about all manner of subjects and things, so every seemed with a lot of common. Such a good time with him. What a good evening. I'm a proper king now. My coordination is worthy of my rank. A fine spectacle for guests, many of them still linger in the hopes of a few final royal words. The reign of Sultan Adab has begun. Consolidate the nun. That's his sworn oath. Very well. That's pretty much what he's saying. No oath. The insurgents adopted cunning tactics that impeded progress. The Knights assure you that they are studying these tactics and will devise counter-strategies for future success. Last. One sec. Yeah, we can go visit all of them. Good. Buys more time to travel and more opportunities for soap trade. Yeah, too large. Good enough. Let's go. Plus, you gain prestige every time you visit these places. Just we're about to set out, it starts pouring down. Rain. As far as the eye could see. I can't help but curse my poor luck, but I had seen the dark clouds come along. If we want to make our journey on the time it's set up, it's a risky journey with the weather being what it is. An opportunity to rest, which means more time for so-called trade. Like that. have a second son, and I've gained a Silk Road merchant trait. Theodoros will be your name. While I passed through the drylands of East Kordofan, my personal physician Kajal was about to trip over a hidden wire trap, but is swiftly cautioned by my bodyguard. Oh, Holothos. Kajabo, you need to be more careful, Holothos admonishes, concerned with his voice. Kajabo offers a sheepish, grateful smile in return. Thanks, how are you one? Let's make haste. You gain a bit more tax and income, prestige, and all that as silver merchant. As we continued through rank, one day, Galasi suddenly perks up for some reason. Before I could ask what he's thinking of, he asks everyone if they remember the folk song about the beauty of her. It's the one we heard about the locals singing in the tavern the other day. Galasi reminds us. So he starts singing the lyrics, everyone starts to recall the song, and they all join in with varying amounts of lyrical ability. But for everyone's heart's hard about it, cheerful tune. The journey seems less dreary all of a sudden. I'll just observe everyone enjoying themselves. Again, are you sure? Oh, okay, we could keep on going. All the way over there, if you can. Okay, there it is. Go to this battle site for small additional martial lifestyle. All these noted landmarks of Eastern Africa. There's nothing else beyond that. Go. Not to mention get a lot of money that we'll be spending on a lot of things in future. This road's gotten incredibly hilly the past few hours, and everyone's beginning to weary. With no ends of hills in sight, my caravan master approaches me and says, "My lord, our mounts cannot carry on like this much longer. The poor elves need a break, or I fear they'll collapse. We must stop to rest." He knows full well this will delay our journey back home. Yes, we'll be wise to rest. More time to make money. That's every resting opportunity you got to get. This is the battle site here. Journey planner. More divided range and costs less for activity options. Ditch. By the blood. In the silence of Angata, where the hot wind sculpt the sands, the solitary watchtower stands vigilant. Its keeper, an austere sentinel, greets for me. "Esteemed guest," the man shouted up, "is there anything I can do for you? Perhaps you'd like to join me to gaze upon the dry commons." Oh yeah. Perhaps you could be our guide in these lands. Songs of Garad Amal. As we travel through the outskirts of Bumina, we suddenly see a jovial man in the distance, jumping, dancing, and singing himself. Seems like quite the Courtier. "Would you like to hear some of his songs about Amlale? Amlale, the swine of the Afar court?" He yells at us as soon as we get within shouting distance. We're at a time to answer, we start singing a merry tune about the depravities of Garad of Amlale. You seem like an interesting man. Would you like to join me as court musician? regiments now. Leaves the entourage. Well, as you are, musician, there's only one thing we could do. Bolster legitimacy, but there's no real task there, just to have you there. Which is just to reduce stress and increase court grandeur. I gained a personal claim on the crown of Haddab. Well. And then this other artifact, Albinate, Nobadia, and Regalia. Woo! Again, that man. If you want to steal artifacts, it's going to be very difficult to do. Like if need be, I would rather have. Gee, I don't know. You should have had friends in high places over there. While trying through the hall now, I can't help but notice that every person I see works with a quiet intensity I don't often notice in my own land. Small one laborers and asked him about any shares of pity with him. Well, you see, the trick is that you put your back into it, and don't stop until the job's a good one. Industrious. That's who they are. What culture's out of fire? A fire. I don't see any traits that says it here, unless it's the Habasha. No. We sit at a quiet tavern in Bur when a loud band of ragged-looking sellswords come barging in. The brutish leader pushes one of my guards aside and audaciously sits down at my table. A noble man, eh? Well, interested in the service of the best mercenaries in Bur? More loyal men you'll never find. If you at least pay us properly. Well, I got a perfect job for you. Because we need more men like you in our ranks. David of Wally and Moore has been prepared for a play inspired by the classics, the old times. I received my invitation this morning, but to my surprise and disappointment, even under Liege, it seems I will not attend the spectacle in the place of honor. I could sense Crusader's swords and a veiled signal of defiance by all my vassals in this impudence. If I want to look good and reassert my true place in my realm, I need to take definitive measures. Use creativity and God to be the honored one. Success! My wife's a cunning politician. As I'm traveling, I came upon two women arguing on the side of the road. One of them is a pretty young woman and appears to be beaten nearly to death by a second older woman. I had to stop for a moment to listen, and I quickly surmised that the older woman's accusing the young maiden of having had some low relations with the husband. The young maiden vehemently denied his claims. While not immediately connected to this affair, as the Lord would be an easy thing to intervene with one way or the other. Turning the old hag back and I made a ted to. What a great misfortune! We're riding on the road of Qatar when Papasinan's horse collapsed beneath his legs, dropping dead. Curses upon curses, he asked, as they all gathered around the horse's corpse wondering what to do with it. This horse had been showing signs of exhaustion for a few days now, but that didn't seem that bad. Now we know better. Thankfully there's a town not too far away. I could get a new horse with Papacinan there, or give him one of the donkeys carrying supplies and redistribute the loads around. A bit fun, pressed for time. Get him a new horse. We got lots of money for it. take a drink. As we walk through the streets of Dejarin, there's a loud ruckus by one of the market stalls, with two men yelling at one another. Before we can make our way there, a man has already stepped in between and talked to them. See, it'll be fine, he tells the man in the stall with a smile and hands him a coin. With a simple act of kind generosity, everything returns to normalcy. He turns to us as we approach. No banner or mark telling me of any liege lord. Perhaps a wandering knight? An honorable knight like you should serve a lord like myself. Ill. Thanks to those diligent efforts, my caravan master necessarily found a safe shortcut at Bazin. We could have used to reduce the time of the journey quite a bit. How fortunate. Good work. Almost home, as we're in our territory now. Yeah. They stayed on the road slightly too long and the sun is starting to dip below the horizon. All the surrounding terrain shape starts to merge to form into angry-looking armed figures. This here road has a toll. Pay up, says the biggest and frankly ugliest of the bunch. My caravan master steps forward, weapon raised, and looks at me for direction. Are you nuts? Tolls are for peasants and I'm its king. As we walk through the church in Al Hajar, I overhear a group of travelers talking quietly to one another. One of them, a man, starts comparing the church with his journey to Aksum. I can't help but listen on the conversation as he continues going into detail about the fantastic things saw again. Looking around, I can only imagine how much better it must be than the dainty sight to see here. Tell me more about Aksum. So I could convince him to tell me more about it. Traveling to there in a pilgrimage will give you piety, stress loss, and wandering lifestyle experience. I'll make a note of that. This is the capital Nubian. Gotta have this. Because you have siege weapons and you want to have the effectiveness. Especially in a future conflict against Mercuria. Especially its capital at Dongola. One of the most well-defended territories of the continent. Okay. So, two, maybe three activities I want to do. First, we go on a hunt. Falconry this time. Because of a bustard sighting out there. There's another place like it. So I'll just do it over there. Increased chance of success. More prestige upon completion. And then after we have that hunt, we're actually gonna go through Medina, then to Mecca, Jeddah, and if you can, no, well, we'll figure it out once we get over there. And maybe swing around over there. I mean, yes, it's more stewardship and all that, but there's some martial lifestyle going here. Just don't want to venture off too far into there. Just wanted an excuse to travel around and and make more gold. To the hunt. Got it. Each time I complete these, we're still quite far away from the next tier. Let's wait for the others. Of Gifu, ever since the age of the Vikings have begun, coastal settlements around the North Sea have been raided regularly within Britannia. The Dane law has been established and served as a permanent foothold for the Norse raiders. Duchess of Gifu holds claims to England and Denmark due to close family ties. Will she be able to consolidate her claims? Relentless savages, I say. Those damn pirates, they're gonna have to be dealt with. I was hoping it wouldn't be a case, but we gotta do it. Spending money and prestige for this. Unless you want more trade power. Gives you more prestige, so combat piracy. Implement stringent measures to eradicate piracy in maritime territories, ensuring merchant safety and trade route security. This policy aims to instill the confidence that traders and maintain a stable environment for commerce. Reduces the chances of pirate activity events. 2 knights will be assigned to the task. I mean, we have lots of knights anyway, so I'm not worried about too much. If we're in battle, I think advantage wins out today rather than our knights. Oh, hold on. My liege, the knights, through sheer persistence, have made significant strides in addressing local banditry. Additional resources proved instrumental. The knights request your continued support to eradicate this menace completely. Alright, for the next 30 years we gained minor military advantage, so that's for our house. +1 prowess, 1 to prestige, 9 effectiveness. We got it! Mayor Papan assembles the party as sunrise over the camp in the desert near Anab. With any luck, we shall find a bevy of pheasants. Our falcons will have great sport. My beaters should have no trouble bringing the birds out of hiding. I've noted a few spots likely to bear fruit. Let's get out there. Solomon has been the star of the hunt thus far. His falcon's talons forever dripping red with fresh blood, so much so that his gloves seem to be stained with permanent crimson. I cannot help but probe what he's done to train such an obedient, masterful hunting bird, and he just laughs. I wish I could tell you. It was my good training, but speaking truthfully, my glove is blessed by God. I'd be willing to give it up for the right price. Oh, I must have it. That'll be good to have. I had to find a better weapon these days. Oh, repair that. So that you can afford it. And you're gonna need that whenever you're gonna go to martial lifestyle. My falcon takes a perch and keenly spies across the landscape. In a flash, the bird descends upon something and turns to frenzy once it reaches its prey. It pecks and claws at something on the ground, but I can't see what. I hurry over to the frantic screeching falcon and find that hauling not over a dead beast, but a small collection of coins and trinkets. The value doesn't seem to be too extravagant, and I'm sure wouldn't be able to find the original, even if I wanted to. A fine find, my friend, for 50 gold! Whew. At least I got some back. Master Hut, Nicodemus, signals the party to hush. We arrive at a release spot set up by the Game Masters. From our vantage point, we can see several speckled pheasants stray around the spiny scrub ahead. The beaters will be in position, ready to spook the game to flight. The party halts to prepare to remove the birds' hoods and set them one by one to their sport. Fly, true little man. As Papa said Kuda, and I pad over on some troublesome ground, I almost jump out of my skin at the sound of almighty yelp. I turn to see my knight sprawled on the ground, a snare tightly choking his calf. He yells faint. Ah, these damn commoners. Why can't they hunt like real men? As press on, we'll lose the pheasant. Our watch excited as my falcon identifies target takes wing from its watch, soaring high in the air. The fences are none the wiser as my falcon scans the ground, however. Time and again, my falcon swoops in for the kill, but misses, retreats, or only grazes its target. After hours, attempts to gain all but disappeared. The falcon's near exhausted and the light is fading. There's always next time. He didn't call it wild as an adventure, and this outing delivered a good and bad in abundance. The master of the hunt Nicodemus gathers at this point of partying exhausted out, so trip back home. The resident indeed lured us this time. At least there's prestige to be gained here, but now gotta do a little bit more silk trade. Sea is calm and forgiving today. Still as a boulder and a powerful wind are back to boot. It'll still be an easy day for the rowers below, when I spotted a mangled corpse of a ship buried nose first with some jagged rocks just ahead. There does appear to be any survivors, and the rocks will be no trivial thing to navigate. Yet I feel compelled to go to investigate this mysterious wreck. Let's investigate. You find nothing. Parts of the road and Yanbu are covered with wooden planks. As that's common in some places, make the travel easier. Or it should be no surprise this road is often times subject to theft, taking to more rural areas. As so happens, we encountered a party of ruffians trying to take these wooden planks. We try to make off with the wood as soon as we approach. Let's go after them. 99% chance we catch the thieves. Stop the thieves on the road. Make them look good. Gotta have this since you have an heir right now. Money. Okay, stop right there. No. It's a Lodge of Divination. Really? $18 days. Never you mind. Just go back home. A mining settlement at least. Nope. You're just trying to work around it. As in how to get away with it. Not like that, you fool. I will figure something out. Maybe we could try to fool it. Like once we're at Wabard, then maybe do that. Like what you did last time. Come on. Let's move out. Plus gives you more time to do the silk trade. The journey through Taif unveils a sprawling pasture started with cattle. As my retinue pauses at the edge of the red ant field, the herdsman approaches cheerfully, strumming his lute. Grants a broad smile and greeting. My lord, he begins, these beasts are proud of our prods. Join me to witness our labor, restock your supplies, or partake of our famous Taif blue cheese. Must make haste. The sooner the better. Alliance expired. Excellent. As the silhouette of the base looms ahead, the rugged outlines of the hill forts command the landscape. A brutish-looking group of warriors approach. Their leader, of course, my lord, he nods. We are the men from Emir Massa's garrison. For a small fee, we could protect you on the journey. What say you? You look strong. How about you join? Polygaming is a land of strange and obscure customary. The practices of Marabatas and faith are strange and unimaginably different from Coptic, and nowhere is that more apparent than their attitude towards the practice of magic. Right now, in the middle of the town, there's a man chanting incantations and offering blessings as if he were a priest. It is strange to me, but the people appear positively jubilant to be in his presence. As you may understand that sorcery is a sin. I want a debate. Gracious host, impeccable guest. In 22 months, and likely less, I'll become Voyager and switch to Marshal. Okay. Now that we're here, are you sure we can't go further? Yes, we can. That's what I wanted all along. And we could go travel overland again and make more gold for the Silk Road trade. Not to mention prestige as well. And the lifestyle experiences. There's Typhus over in Sakatra, so I wouldn't go there if I were you. Perhaps. Hey, you missed one up there. As tempting as the idea as it is, but... yeah, where did I go for that? So we'll just visit Sakatra a bit and then go up, land here, then back home, okay? Only have like very little dread. if I ever become more dreadful in events and among other things, that may help me. Yeah, typhus is still ongoing. But I'm willing to take that risk. Let's go visit that sick island. And then land in Jeddah, then home. Alright? If I get typhus, I'll manage. Get out of there. Knight caught typhus. Just like other children his age, my son Basil sometimes lies and tests boundaries. However, he often avoids suspicion with sweet demeanor. People always forgive him when he does get caught. Just wonder how much he gets away with. I'll keep an eye on this one. It's charming. Actually, I remember there's one other travel I like to do. Pilgrimage to there. These holy sites, yes. Oh, you'll do. Quarry Quarrel. Upon entering the local corridor, I spot several spindly and dirty children helping their famished parents with their heavy work. Food appears to be sparse in this area. A little bit further up on the landing, the quarry foreman, Fane, is having an argument with Simon, who appears to be a spokesman for the workers. This is unacceptable, my lord, Simon says. I can't afford enough food, and I've gone to bed hungry for months now. While children are starving, the strangers doingly perform such everywhere. All we need is the tiniest to raise, he trails off as he notices my presence. Safe and nourished workers are more effective. Truce has expired. So, this is what it would look like if we were to declare war. Of these claims for both of them. Okay, not as much as I thought it would be. Thanks to innovations, that are just them, perk, high legitimacy. Thought it would be a lot more than that to get these two kingdoms, to bring it all to bear. But however, in 5 months we'll get to have this, so don't start that war now. We need to increase the size of our existing men-at-arms regiments. And you know, this affects them too. Codafans become independent, so that's why when we bordered with these realms, and it, okay, that one, who's my cousin, that is a Darfurian faith, not Christian. This one, Christian. That'll be more easy to bring them into our realm, while that one, on the other hand, unfortunately, they're all mollusts. And don't forget a war with Lemia too. Yeah, let's just do one more travel, and that's the pilgrimage to that site down there. It's a relatively short distance. Leave it as it is. Don't make any adjustments. Go for zealotry. Standing back. Got it? Bringing my children too. They'll be pilgrims. Trying to make as much money as I can while I'm out there, before we'll increase the size of our military and be ready for the war of conquests and all that, which will be for next episode. I want to dedicate that episode to all that. As we sit by the campfire after a long day, a group of travelers approaches us in the dark. A band of knights led by a proud-looking man. Each one of the knights looked richer than the next. My lord, it is my pleasure to meet you. I am Sosima of the Knights of the First Gospel. We've been on a long journey to get to Akadite. Of Akite. I mean, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. You need some rest before the last stretch. Make sure your campfire. Come, enjoy a campfire. Tell us of your travels. We can use you to get the hook. We need men like you in our ranks. My party passes through a small town. I notice a throng of people filling the market square. At the center, a man stands on an overturned fish cart, shouting wildly at all who will listen. The day of the judgment is nigh. Repent, repent, I say, or you shall be damned for all of eternity. The weird-looking townsfolk nervously whisper to each other, fearful of the doomsayer's words. I don't know what's the Greek or Nubian equivalent to those kind of words. Oh, here's the thing now. What else is left there? I mean, the tension is so low that it will have very little effect on our economy. Go ahead. Finally here. Body and soul at the great church of today. As I have bishop, obviously blessings, I reflect on everything that had happened for God to bring me here. this moment in time. I've walked the holy path. As we traveled through here, when Kajawak called to my attention, some plants she noticed on the side of the road. Kajawak sadly told me, "The herbal plants over here, can you see them? They're somewhat rare, or they could be like this, occasionally found here. But to find a bunch here like this, if you're primitive, we should set up camp nearby so I could gather some. Any physician would make great use of them, including yours." Why not? As I enter the sacred grounds, I find Theodoros, stare at the altar with an absent expression. "Theodoros," I call him. "My lord," he says, unfazed, "how should I ask you? Hope you could forgive me. This place has moved my soul and agitated my spirit in a way I thought inconceivable. God has spoken to me, and his voice clear, severe, precise. He keeps going and going and going. The only sound I can hear now, the whole world has gone quiet. If I could stay behind, I would like to devote my life to it." That's my Silk Road merchant. I understand. You had to do what you had to do. A monk and a Silk Road merchant. Heck of a life, huh? Mommy's not a nursery, goddammit. Oh, yeah, I forgot. As I wander around the stalls in the market, avoid as many local foods as I can. Waves of people trying to drag me to their houses. I notice a bigger gathering around a specific merchant. "Come and buy the true relic for a price that makes St. Matty laugh for decades. The holy nail, found in this very holy shrine only a few days ago." That doesn't look very authentic. Keen on learning for level devotion permanent. Gray has walked by myself for many years, and the passage of time does not spare dogs. As I kneel beside him, he starts to wag his tail slowly, but he cannot raise his head. I sit him along in the night, petting his gray back until his tail stills. I'll never understand why does that even exist. Unless I'm a lunatic character, or eccentric, then I would be willing to do that decision, but I would never do that. New innovation. We got household soldiers now. 9 years' time we'll have this. But the next thing I want is royal prerogative. So we're gonna have high crown and absolute crown authority. So that way it'll be one of the good ones that you gotta get. So I mean that's what I have in my queue. It's like, yeah, this will come in naturally. After I get royal prerogative, I'll switch to bailiffs and then switch to manorialism. Then go for mangonels. And then buzz. Not too concerned about Arch Saddle because we already have a heavy cavalry type unit. Man-at-Arms regiment. As I look back on the others, we'll get all these in decades time, which I don't mind one bit. You know, now that I thought about it. What the hell? quasi-theocracy, quasi-autocracy, aristocracy, democracy. But again, you need lots of... Well, you need 5,000 prestige, it's one thing. Minority vassals stands dominant. Quasi-republic. Jimmy, Christmas. I've never seen these. No, you can't go to primogeniture because you don't have that innovation. Just till the late medieval era. But anyways, continue on. During our pilgrimage here, I cannot help but return to the local market, perusing the wares. One stand in particular catches my attention. The merchant grins at me and proclaims, "I have the wares if my lord has the coin." These exotic goods presented you sure to make a nice profit back home, or maybe I could even say them as a gift. These over there look intriguing. Taking them with me. As our time at the sacred site draws to an end, I feel reassured that I may not have been the most pious pilgrim out there, but have proved my dedication to the Lord in more ways than one. This being my first pilgrimage, while no pilgrimage is exactly alike, I feel confident and more familiar with what to expect this type of spiritual journey in the future. That's been an honor. On our way to Qatar, we appear to have stumbled into a local food market. Everywhere, peasants and nobles of every culture and tongue clamor around exotic food stalls. The air thick with fragrances I never had imagined. My nose is drawn to a lowly stall stacked with a dish I could only dream of. I'm pulled out of my haze by a halting grasp of Ali. Do not waste upon this slop, my lord. Bowls of stew are for peasants, with much finer foods at home. Can't believe I almost ate this garbage. Passing through a remote village, a gathering of peasants in the distance catches my eye. Before a small crowd under a ramshackle trellis painstakingly covered a variety of wild flowers stands three figures, a man, a woman, and what I surmise is a local priest. Whilst the wedding is nothing out of the ordinary, the joining of two souls is always seen as a momentous occasion by both common folk and nobles alike. Others should act accordingly. Let's move on. Shortcut. The Courtiers at war. They want the Mat. They want to go further in. Voyager. There you go. Now, switch to this lifestyle. My prowess is excellent, but it can do better. And I like to have every advantage I can get. Here. We can have 2 more men-at-arms regiments. And we can afford them, but first, expand the size of the existing ones. Just the infantry ones first, before we'll get the cavalry up. Maintenance is going to hurt it a bit, but it'll be worth it. Having carried my exotic wares all the way from there, I need to decide what to do with them. Should I sell them at a profit, or keep them as a gift from an next person's game? The coin speaks to me. Silverware, so triple the amount. Keep it going, man. Oof. Yeah, that much. Oh. See if you can get gold. A master of raids, Nicodemus approaches with a bold proposition. Suggests launching a chivalry, a swift-mounted raid deep in the lands of King of Danis. Primary goal, plunder. He believes we can extract significant wealth by targeting vulnerable settlements and supply lines. Here has identified 3 careful knights to task. Aladdin, Salamid, and Avadin. Assemble a potential raiding party. No raiding party requires a leader, someone to command the knights and make tactical decisions during a chivalry. My master raids has presented 3 candidates, each a proven warrior in their own right. Aladdin grips his weapon with quiet confidence. Salamawit stands resolute behind her shield. Avadir has his axe of fierce glint in his eye. Whom shall I entrust in leading this dangerous venture? Damn. He seems to be the most capable of task. He's the most well-rounded. I have confidence in him. The raiding party is assembled. Addison stands Aladdin. Chosen to lead us, Shalash. Flanked by Salamavit and Abadin. They await my final command. Horses snort impatiently, leather creaks, and hear thrums of anticipation. A master of raids, Nicodemus gives a sharp nod, indicating that all is prepared. The success of this venture now rests on their skill, courage, and perhaps a measure of luck. Let the fires be lit. Ride forth. The raiding party will depart for approximately 1 year. Their success depends on their combined skill, boldness, and are confident in my master of raids. Participants will be unavailable and absent. So just for 1 year. Circumstance suggests a reasonable success, 69% chance, 30% chance of failure. Hear back from them in a year. Propose a trade for Lemia for the next 5 years. Sure. But the thing is about that is, we don't need one right now. It's like, yeah, I'd be willing to have a truce with them for a while, knowing that we'd still be preparing for war against Mercuria, and who knows how long the Mercurian war will last, and then the recovery period, and then war for these territories. That's what I'm saying with this. Yeah, that's a good way to think. And also more money to burn. There we go. Now we're going to be at the max. This will take many months though. That's why I have to wait out a year. But we'll end this episode in January. As I patiently wait the fetching of my clothes, the servant status. My lord, no one can find your garments. I'm surrounded by incompetence. I'm out of storming my chamber. It's in my son Val's room. I discovered not only my raiments, but also the boy's wetness. I had no part in them, my liege. He dressed himself. She responds to Kegel. Oh, little scoundrel. Thank you for the warning. Very high enough. Good way to cap off for that episode. Seems pretty even with this, for now. But for now, we're on good terms with Egypt for now. And I'll be sure to propose another trade with them. If you have the coin to do so. Just decrease his opinion a bit, like just compliment him, then you'll get a good trade. It'll put you to death if you were to do that right now, in hypothetical, but be sure to do that in pre-war. It's just to keep it on our side. Or at least, now that you have children of your own, propose a hostage exchange. That we could do. Because my pregnant wife, which will have a child in the next episode, and I'll be willing to do the hostage with Egypt. So I don't attack them, and they don't attack me. That's the deal. That's to keep them off of our backs for the foreseeable future. So in the next episode, war against Mercuria, expansion to unite these two duchies perhaps, hopefully in peace, well, anything like that. Even though we're quite far away from going to get true for increased offer vassalization. But it's fair, we may have to holy war these guys too. But I mean, we could at least fight one minor war just for these territories, and then that's it. You got all Lodia, and subsequently have to fight Blemia, which now we have a truce with them due to a trade agreement we've had, which is a rarity between us, given so we're very differently. But yeah, things are looking up for the next episode. But until then, so long for now.